Welcome back to Madden 22 New York Giants franchise. We are here. It's the bye week. We got a couple decisions here to make. We're gonna do a little bit of maybe scouting. I don't know. I'm really not feeling the scouting system. I really don't like this. I feel like we're sort of removed from these prospects, if you ask me personally. I don't know. Like, to me, it just feels like we don't really get to interact with the prospects at all. It's sort of just off to the side and sort of forgotten about. So I hope they can redo that. So we take a look here at this mock draft. Looks like quarterback going number 1, Ricky Wilcox. Then Terrell Durham. Looks like he'd be the second quarterback taken out the board. And it looks like they have us projected to take a left end. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. I do think we would probably look to improve that defensive line. Dexter Lawrence is just really a guy out there, so we definitely look to do that. Position we don't really need to think about is the offensive line really at all. Maybe another guard to replace David DeCastro in case he's not back next season. Who knows? Maybe there's a younger guard out there that we would sign, but yeah. So Akem Aquano does have superstar, so we're looking for a ability to put on him here, and looking at these, and I think we're just gonna go with, what's the one we go with here? I think it's one for sheds. So I think that is all day, or yes, we throw on all day on him. Here's Zion Johnson, who he's been okay this season, hasn't been great, hasn't made too many mistakes, but I want him better in that run blocking. So we get +2 run block, +1 lead block. I think that's where he's been struggling, sort of being a lead blocker at times. Alex Lindstrom, he's been pretty good for us. Don't have much negative to say about him. Haven't really had too many problems. So he gets an upgrade here to a 72 overall, so that's pretty nice as well. But this offensive line has been okay. And then here is backup quarterback Derek King, late round draft picks, or just taken as a let's see what happens. Up to a 62 overall. And then Kadarius Toney, he's been a stud for us this season. One of the few bright spots on this team. So, +2 release, +2 deep route. I believe that was catching traffic. Very nice stuff right there. So, one of the things I talked about last episode is where we're going with this football team. And it's very clear, even though we're sitting at 3-4, this team, is very streaky. We're gonna win a game, and then we're probably gonna lose 2 or 3, and then maybe win a game. And it's just sort of not a team that's going to, I think, compete for a playoff spot. And maybe not even gonna do it next season. So to me, it just doesn't make sense to re-sign Saquon Barkley. Now the issue with trying to look for a trade here is most of the league is well over the cap, so it makes it very difficult for us to make a move here. And we're not going to re-sign Saquon, so to me, why not just make a move here, get rid of him now, and we're going to go to Buffalo. And we're going to ask for a 3rd round pick and a 6th round pick. Probably a little underselling it, but he is a running back, hasn't been too good the past few years. The overall looks nice, but hasn't played particularly well the past 2 seasons. And was injured a season before that too. So Saquon Barkley, the experiment ends here. Zach Moss coming back along with a 3rd and 6th round pick. Saquon goes to Buffalo. He goes to actually play in New York now, as opposed to New Jersey. So that's the first move we're going to do. I know that's probably going to be controversial. We probably could have built a team for a 1st round draft pick, but I just don't think a team's trading a 1st for him. James Bradbury, another guy I believe is a free agent at the end of this year. I could be wrong on that, but older player, 86 overall, probably going to go down even more. And so now we're going to look for a spot to potentially trade him as well. As we just look around here, try to find a spot that works cap-wise. That's the thing that we have to find. We have to find a spot that works cap-wise. The Packers, they have cap, but we go in here and we look. They don't really have any receivers. They have Randall Cobbs, and that's really about it. They have Randall Cobb and some guys. So we see a team in the Packers that actually need a wide receiver. we have an excess of wide receivers. Not an excess of wide receivers, but we look at trading Darius Slayton. We put him on here, and then we're going to come to the Packers, and we're going to ask for some picks here. Maybe they're interested in Darius Slayton. Why not ask for a couple picks here? I thought about maybe asking for Jordan Love, but, Daniel Jones hasn't been the problem for us really this season, I feel. So a 2 and a 5, they say no. And I said, okay, well, what if we put in Sterling Shepard? He's age 29, probably not going to get that much better. We take a look at his contract. He's on the books this year and next year. So $11.5 million. We can get that off of our books. So I figure, why not actually make this move? A 2 and a 5 for Sterling Shepard. The Packers, they need receiver help. And let's make this move. And they accept the deal. So we get a 2 and a 5 for Sterling Shepard. And now we can come back to James Bradbury, who is an older player, age 29, already starting to regress. So not like he has much else to go. And the Raiders are a team that we're gonna say a 4th round pick. I think that's about what you trade this guy for, a 4th round pick. I don't think you'd get anything more than that. So a 4th round pick from the Raiders, and they accept that deal. And that is going to do it for the trades that we're going to make. So is this a tanking move? Is this sort of maybe waving the white flag on the season, even after coming off a victory against Washington? Yeah, it probably is a sort of waving the flag there on this season. I just think that's the right move to make. If you're not competing for the playoffs, well, then you got to figure out a way to build somehow. We have an extra roster spot now at wide receiver. We're going to sign Khalif Raymond, bring him in. Just why not? Is sort of the way I view it. Gonna need an extra corner as well. So I'm gonna look here at these guys, and looking through these guys here, some interesting players, and we are going to go with this guy whose head looks like it was dipped in like the Dairy Queen chocolate thing, where like they dip your cone in the chocolate. That's what his picture looks like. He looks normal here. So Dejon Warren, we're going to sign him up here. And then we're going to advance a week here. We're going to need also one more running back as well. That's what we need. And we're taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Like I said, they're 6-1. And we're taking on teams now that are better. We're taking on the Cowboys. We're going to be taking on the Bengals. We're going to be taking on the Packers. I think we got the 49ers up on the schedule. So we're going to get into, I think, a meaty part of our schedule filled with really good teams that I just don't think we're going to be able to match. And so if we can trade those players away, get some draft picks, sort of fill the cupboard board, refill what we need to fill, refill the pantry, if you will, after the draft, I think that's something that is beneficial to us, as opposed to, I think just trying to sort of be a 500 football team that's not going to make the playoffs. So that's why I think we're going to make that. That's why we made the moves that we made. I think they're just moves that are beneficial for us long term. We might take a step back this season, but I didn't really have high expectations for this season. So there's that. Yeah. I just spit out some old food, and it tasted really bad. So we take a look at here, and we do need a spare running back, I think. Zach Moss. We take a look here. Offensive line looks good. That looks very nice. Quarterback is whatever, I think. I looked at trading for some quarterbacks. I have to say, I really did look at it. The issue is, so many of these teams, and when I went through it, this is a real problem. I hope they fix it in Madden 23. There's a lot of teams with 4 quarterbacks on their roster, and it sort of just doesn't make sense. It's kind of strange. Zach Moss, I hope he can be nice for us. Once again, just sort of not, I don't think he's going to be a long-term answer for us, but I think he'll be okay for us. Not going to be a free agent, I think, not for another like 2 years, another 2-3 years. So there's that. Cheap labor is always good. So there is our secondary. It's not great. It's not great. It hasn't been great, but I knew it wasn't going to be great. But hopefully with those draft picks, we can sort of reload this secondary and get it to where we kind of need it to be. Adoree Jackson is going to be our lead corner. He's been pretty good for us this year. So Adoree Jackson and Darnay Holmes, hopefully they can play well as we go throughout the season. And Blake Martinez is a guy probably not going to be back. Darius Slayton, that looks like a reasonable deal. He might be back. David DeCastro, we'll have to wait and see what his regression looks like. Daniel Jones being a free agent makes things very interesting. He's played okay, but you know, it's enticing to sort of just move on from a guy like Daniel Jones and then just go with a rookie quarterback again. You want to keep that cap hit at quarterback if you can low, if it's not a superstar quarterback. And I don't think Daniel Jones is necessarily that. So we're going to look for another running back here, and we want something that's a little different from what we had, I think, in Saquon, where I feel like he just wasn't quick enough for me. We want some speed here at the running back position. And we're looking through here. We'll look for someone kind of young too. And we're going to look at CJ Verdell. And this guy is the Ohio State killer. I mean, he had 3 touchdowns against Ohio State when Oregon upset him. He had an amazing game. Has home run ability. I don't think he's this light skinned in real life. But he's on the Saints practice squad. 91 speed, 92 acceleration. Juke looks pretty good. Not a big guy who's going to truck. But his catching isn't all that great. But I think this is interesting. We're going to bring him in. We're going to give him a look. We're going to give him a look over and bring him in for the season. Maybe he can prove something to us and maybe sort of be a diamond in the rough find for this Giants football team. So, sitting at 3-4, really at the midseason mark, taking on the Cowboys, and we just traded away a bunch of good players. So, how's the rest of the season going to go? I don't know, but I hope you guys join me for the rest of it. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Be sure to hit like, be sure to hit subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one for more Giants franchise. Peace.